Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are. My name is Dr. Malutha Stephen Mufamadi. I'm actually from Nelson Mandela University. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the convergence of nanomedicine and artificial intelligence, a new era in pharmaceutics. This one is a table of contents. These are the things that I'm going to be talking about. The definition of nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, the use of AI in addressing health issue, and the convergence of AI and nanomedicine, the toxicity profile of nanomedicine using AI tools, cancer nanomedicine and AI, cancer nanotherapeutic and AI challenges, and conclusion. According to National Nanotechnology Initiative, the definition of nanotechnology is the science, engineering, technology conducted at a nanoscale 1 to 100 nanometer. And the definition of nanomedicine is just an application of nanotechnology. But the main focus here is in therapeutics, diagnostic imaging, vaccine, and regenerative medicine. Looking at this slide, you can really see how nanomaterials can be synthesized using different materials like lipids, the polymers, metallic, and carbon nanotubes, and many other proteins, and many other materials. And you can see that the size of nanomaterial should be size of nanoparticles is within 1 to 100 nanometer. And the particles can come in a different shape and can be sphere, plate, cube, star, and rod. They can also have a surface charge, either positive or negative, and they can also be having functional group, surface functional group, or they can also have functionalized, pegylated or coated with other materials like polymers, and in the same time, you can also be functionalized using a antibody or targeted ligands. These are for making target delivery. And numbers of nanomedicine have been approved for clinical use. So therefore, when you're talking about nanomedicine, we're no longer talking about fractions because there's so many drugs that are already commercial and they were designed using these nanomaterials, including the vaccine, the Moderna, and Pfizer. These are some of the benefit of using nanomaterials in pharmaceutics. The one thing that's important is that nanomaterials or nanomedicine allow us to incorporate both hydrophilic and hydrophobic drugs within the structure of nanomaterials. And nanomaterials play a role in terms of pharmaceutic because it's able to protect therapeutic payload against destructive biological environment, harsh gastric chemical within our stomach, and enzyme conditions within our bloodstreams. And another advantage of this nanomaterial so far is that it can able to extend release of active compound to reduce dosage frequency once a week or monthly and possible for a year. And then it can also play a role in terms of combination for more than one drugs in one unit, single nanoparticles. Combination of therapy with diagnostic or theragnostic or theranostics, depending. It can also play a role in terms of transport active compound across biological barrier, such as blood-brain barrier, epithelia, and endothelial barriers. Endothelial barriers. It can also play a role with the ligand functionalized with the targeting ligand. It can play a role in terms of targeting drug delivery at a site of disease, when a specific site to improve the uptake. And also, nanotechnology is allowing us to look at the administrative role of the medications. Instead of using orally, we can try to look at others like pulmonary, nasal, transdermal, and ocular route, which are not easy in other using other methods. With nanotechnology is opening this platform because it allowed to bypassing go through the smaller pores of up to 40 to 50, particularly into transdermal delivery. Then today, one of the topics that I'm going to talk about is artificial intelligence. According to Oxford Dictionary, AI is the study and the development of computer system that can copy intelligent human behavior. That's the definition from Oxford Dictionary. The IBM indicated that it's defining AI is said as a field which combining computer science and robust data to enable problem solving. AI has various purposes. In most cases, AI is used for decision making and for predictions and also pattern recognition from data. Just looking at data, you're able to have all those conclusions. The technologies that are called AI in a nutshell are data science, algorithms, and machine learning and all deep learning. This is just, I thought, for me, when I was busy preparing this lecture, I thought about some of the examples that are already there that are reported recently by McKinsey report that AI is making health affordable. The advantage of this AI is that you can able to predict and you treat a disease using a non-invasive kind of methods. And in the case like this disease identifications, where instead of like doing invasive method, you use non-invasive, usually using a visual assessment of natural images, such as images on the skin conditions to determine whether they are cancers. Just non-invasive imaging. AI may use algorithms and deep learning detection to detect breast cancer at a higher rate than 11 pathologists in one study. And also in drug delivering, in a drug development, AI robots Adams and Eve have shown some significant outcomes where they were able to search for massive amount of data in a hypothesis the role of 19 genes inside the yeast and discovered that trisclosan, a natural ingredient found in a toothpaste, can kill malaria-based parasites. The convergence, which is the main topic of today, the convergence of the AI or nanomedicine in AI, is that AI use data. We all know that AI use data to predict to conclude to research. In this case, AI can use different nanomedicine chemical therapeutics in the one that in literature to predict the new nanomaterial and their pharmaceutical behavior in clinical settings. For nanomaterial synthesis, where we're saying the contribution of AI is that AI can use raw materials, properties, and solvent to predict the outcomes of the stimulated in a stimulated environment, and the type of nanomedicine that will be produced and for what purpose and the behaviors in a certain scenario. Again, in a synthesis of nanomedicine, we can see AI tool can play a role in terms of reducing time and cost, or try and error, employing conventional nanoparticle synthesis approach, which is very expensive with a lot of trial and errors. But in this case, because you can do simulation with the computer, you already know the outcomes, the combinations of everything, the solvent, the materials, before you're embarking with the research. Actually, AI can play a role in terms of providing the starting point of research and help you to choose the right material to develop a less toxic, more effective nanomedicine. And then AI can also, in terms of the nanodrugs or pharmaceutical research, can help us to understand how nanodrugs will behave in a biological environment. So before even embarking with the testing in humans or animals, you already know how the nanoparticles will behave, whether they will be toxic or that they will increase efficacy, drug delivery efficacy, or you will understand because of AI will do this in terms of simulated environment. And it can also help us to understand the interaction within the immune systems and cell membranes, and also the interaction with the drugs, synergies, and which means combination of other drugs. And then can also help us on how to understand how the drug will be absorbed and distributed in the body. And it could also indicate it will help us to understand the how the drug will be metabolized and excreted by the body. So this is some of this advantage of using artificial intelligence simulated programs, computer systems. So before you even embarking into clinical study or preclinical and clinical studies, you can able to already have some kind of understanding using this data science. The AI-enabled nanomedicines, some of the areas which are the key part of our AI's contribution in terms of treating potency of nanomedicines and also decreasing the toxicity and accurate disease detections. This is some of the area that we're seeing impact associating with the combination or the convergence of the technology. When in terms of treatment, we know that the success in this case is based on in terms of the designing of nanomaterials that will have specific behaviors, and then this could be achieved through by fine-tuning the properties of nanomaterials, and then can play a role in terms of effective drugs, synergy, combinations, enhancing targeted predictability. So drug doesn't just go into just passive targeted, but targeted delivery, and can personalize. It can be able to design a medicine for specific individual based on patient profiles. Looking at how the AI really works, or the tools how it really works in terms of particle formulations and predictions of many other things. You can really see from the structure that the input, if you put the following input into your modeling AI tools, you can able to you put in the input layer, which is this other thing you're going to put into artificial intelligent model. You can put a molecular weight, viscosity, hydrophilic, hydrophobic, surface activity, surface charges, and many other properties. And then and using this artificial intelligence machine deep learning, you are able to predict the outcome of the layer, what kind of thing you'll see. You can predict the type of particle that you're going to have, the size, the shape that they'll have, the capability for them to encapsulate the drugs, the nanobio interactions and permeability, and also biofluidic interactions, and also the self-assemble and drug release kinetics. These are some of the key part which are important for pharmaceutics. You're able to also know how the drugs will be released and the kinetics around it. And also, in terms of effective drug synergy combination therapy, we know that nanomaterials, or particularly the liposomes here, you can able to incorporate a lot of drugs within one structure or within one unit, where you can have drugs that are incorporating within the core structures of the liposomes, and drugs are incorporated within the bilayer, and some of them can be incorporated within the surface part of the nanomaterials. So it is very important to use artificial intelligence to predict the outcomes of combination therapy. The AI, apparently, it can able to predict not only the outcome of combination therapy, but it can also predict the cytotoxicity of each combining drugs in each chosen concentration interval. So then it could also play a role into showing that nanomedicine combination and optimizing AI give the better performance when compared to randomly selected nanomedicine combinations. So using AI, where you're more likely to see the better outcomes when you're combining drugs based on the what you call the combination interval. And this study has been shown actually successful, validated by using a human acute lymphoplastics leukemia cell line, cancer cell line, and show such kind of success. That different concentration, different combinations based also in the interval, you're able to be successful and effective using this kind of combination without using the artificial intelligence. Again, we see the drug delivering by active drugs to the pathogenic side without harming the healthy organs and tissue. So what we do know that in terms of conventional methods, normally the nanoparticles are formulated non-specific in most cases, where the behaviors of nanomaterials or the drug delivering specific delivering will be predicted using the normal tumor accumulation by enhancing permeability rotation associating with the cancer behaviors. And also some of these things are based on nanoparticles, traditionally conventionally one universal nano delivering platform for delivering different drugs. But these kind of things are actually exaggerated, because different type of material nanoparticle will behave differently in different environment. So in different type of cells, different type of cancer, the particles will behave differently. The drug also will behave differently. So the study showing how using artificial intelligence you're able to predict the behavior of these things. You can predict the phyto physicochemical properties, pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, efficacy, and safety of the drugs before you even embarking onto preclinical or clinical studies. And then and also that it shows the success of delivering of this drug in a different tumor microenvironment, because different type of tumor environment, the behavior is completely different, and it play a role in terms of the better outcomes, because you already predict the kind of particles that you need to formulate when you are able to know their behavior pharmacokinetic in different tumor environment. So this is kind of some of the things that are very important, using these AI for drug specific and nanocarrier specific. Because most cases when it comes to this kind of drug delivery system, we are more focusing on nanocarrier specific without thinking about drug specific, that the drugs, how the drug will behave post release from the nano materials. The next part I'm going to be talking about is one of the important things, which is the AI-enabled nanomedicine to decrease toxicity, nanotoxicity. What is there? I tried to research the definition of according to Oxford Dictionary. Toxicity is extent to which something is poison or the effect of that poisonous substance has. So the toxicity agent may be physical, maybe according to the dictionary, the toxicity may be either physical or chemical and biological. And in terms of nanotoxicity, the issue here is to determining the adverse effect of nanomaterials in the human environment. So this is the kind of things, and these kind of challenges, particularly in terms of nanomedicine, toxicity is not just set back for nanomedicines, and it should be well understood before clinical applications. So it's something that is very important here is that you using artificial intelligence in nanomedicine, you are able to predict the safety of the drugs that you're going to be your nanomedicine that you'll be formulating in the lab. You can predict the safety part, which is basically part of the safety by design strategy. It's very important. The nanotoxicology, the toxicity of nanoparticles are also induced to the toxicity of nanotoxicity are induced in during the interactions with the surrounding biological environment and other component. So this kind of thing can be using artificial intelligence in a simulated environment, and where you can able to see what kind of interaction will have, what kind of toxicity you're likely to see before you can embark on a proper with the lab or animals, using animals or humans. The toxicity of nanomaterials actually are influenced by various physical-mechanical properties, could be by size of shape, crystal structure, surface charges, surface functionality, and aggregation phase. So AI can play a big role in terms of predicting this kind of things, particularly the quantity, structure, activity relations, which is one of the computer modeling or AI modeling that can play a role in terms of looking at the relation between the structure properties of chemical compound and biological activities. We can see from the study showing that machine learning model can predict the cytotoxicity of nanoparticles. So different nanoparticles can cause different kind of effect in terms of cytotoxicity, whether it can damage the membrane, the particle can damage the membrane, the particle can damage the DNA, the particles can binding and damaging the proteins, or it can cause inflammations. So AI can have prediction of those nanomaterials prior you conducting a lab research or testing in animals and human or cell culture. Also one of the other study which was done using artificial neuronal network, showing the relationship between the cell and nanomaterial interactions, which are very critical. The AI tools will play a role, show the roles of process in a stimulating environment, and then showing that different type of properties of nanomaterials can have a big influence in terms of the toxicity. Some of the selection that was done using AI was the properties predicted from dissolution study, accumulation, aggregations, and competitive protein binding, showing we're able to play a role in terms of confirming how the nanotoxicity will look like, and also nanotherapeutic and efficacy will look like, depending on the different type of properties associated with nanomaterials. Cancer nanomedicine and AI, machine learning, artificial intelligence, we're well known so far. There's a lot of work that I've done or coming on about how this how will be the nanomedicine in relations with the artificial intelligence are likely to predict the nano delivery to tumor as a critical barrier for field of cancer nanomedicine, because this is the area where our challenges. Some of the study shows that the deep neuronal network model adequately predict the delivering efficacy of different nanoparticles in different tumors. The different microenvironments versus the tumor, the delivering will different up to 29% has been showing all of these things. Among of these physical properties, the zeta potential, the core material play a critical role that other particles such as the type of polymers, metals, and liposome shape and integrity strategies. They show these are some of the critical points that can significant. The cancer nanotherapeutic and AI. We're showing that other studies show that the use of magnetic nanoparticles as a drug carrier and also a constructive agent was recently designed into cancer diagnostics. The test via the silicon model, and then we used to study the interference between the nanoparticles and lipid membranes. And for such kind of result, will play significant in terms of imaging and therapeutic capability in vivo mouse model of breast cancer. And the AI model could, in this case, could play a critical role in terms of imaging process to enhancing imaging constraint, identify imaging patterns, and revealing the distribution of nanometers, providing the information for treatment plans, particularly for the optimized dosage, and also monitoring treatment outcomes. The challenges that is already there in terms of using the convergence of nanotechnology and other things. Despite the success already there in oncology, many challenges remaining to be addressed. Specifically, the major challenges in the large data required for silicon model and AI training. So there's a lot of that required for all those kind of things and training. And there's significant challenges in evolution of molecules, pharmacokinetics, and patient informations are also some of the challenge that we have when do working with AI, legally, ethically, and regulation. There's still challenges because some of these things are not yet regulated. So therefore, these are still some of the challenges associated with the use of artificial intelligence, whether it's in the nanomedicine or it's on a health aspect or any other areas. There's still a lot of those challenges. In conclusion and future perspective, AI or machine learning tools promise to reduce the cost and time for nanomedicine productions. We're happy to know that with AI or machine learning, we are more likely to predict the outcome before embark on the research, particularly for developing country where the resources are not more. So it'll be easy for you to first work understanding the outcome of your nanoparticles pure embarking on the lab work, at least to know, or you already know what is the kind of simulated behavior and how you can relate it into your lab work. AI promising to improve drug efficacy, safety, and treatment outcome over conventional method, because the advantage about AI, you are more likely to start first understanding the behaviors and also model your nanomaterials so that they can have better outcomes, less toxicity, and high efficacy. And this is called safe by design. The also one thing about AI algorithms can process a large database and cognize complex pattern that can exploit to improve designing nanomedicines. For example, like the use of nanosensor can play a role in terms of predicting or identifying the patterns associated with these medications. The next phase of nanomedicine, definitely we need to further explore how the therapeutic payroll of nanomaterial can be best designed to personalize optimization, efficacy, and safety use AI. The second thing is how nanomedicine administration can be modulated to account for the dynamic nature of a patient response. And then lastly, the emergence of digital we're realizing in new era of clinical promise, as well as preparedness of the medical challenges and current and future generation. Definitely, the AI, with its own component, we're likely to see a lot of other changes in the area of nanomedicine. These are the reference. And then I would like to thank everyone and thank you for the